When making theory videos on this next 21 Pilots era, I often cite 3 quotes that we know to be true about this next album. And almost every time I quote these in my videos, a lot of people in the comments ask, where did we get this information? And ultimately, how do we know that it's true? So with the new 21 Pilots era right around the corner, I wanted to dissect each of these quotes and explain why they're true and how they ultimately are informing our expectations with this final project in the Dima storyline. Each of these facts are quoted by Tyler Joseph, so we are ultimately getting this information straight from the source. The first fact that is true about this next album is it'll be a lot darker than Scaled and Icy, and potentially the darkest album that they have ever produced. This quote comes straight from the Zane Lowe interview that was hosted by Apple Music with Tyler Joseph right around the time that Scaled and Icy was released.
It's a constant course correction. So that's why this record feels a little brighter, feels a little cleaner. The songwriting is a little more traditional. And so I don't know what's next, but I would imagine that it's compensating for what I'm doing now. And I think that I'm always going to be zigzagging like that.
So obviously they are overcompensating for Scaled and Icy, and Scaled and Icy was a really poppy, glossy album. So overcompensating for that would be a very dark and nitty-gritty vibe, similar to Trench and Blurryface. And now that we know that this is a fire era, or it has a huge emphasis on infernos, it's very easy to see that the Banditos are taking the war to the Bishops. Pretty dark stuff, and I'm so here for it. The second quote is that this album is going to be the most lore focused of any album that they've produced thus far. And this quote comes from 21 Pilots once again, and Tyler Joseph is talking about the next album and fan theories and predictions. Here's the clip.
I will say the next record will probably be the most upfront, the most clear in just, talking about the players and what the story is. And in order to do that, I want to make sure that we're very clear in explaining what's going on. This story it's been written for a while, and I'm excited to. I'll be very proud of it. It's one of those endings where like the bow goes on, and kind of. I don't know. You will argue with me, I'm sure, once it happens, but I will like the bow is on, and I'm proud of it, and that is what it is.
So in this clip, Tyler is basically saying that because this is the final album in the Dima storyline, it really needs to have a lore-centric focus. This way they can finalize everything, they can answer all the questions they feel like are necessary with the lore, and end it in a way that ties a bow neatly at the bookend. I'm sure there's going to be some ambiguity with the ending, and it'll cause a lot of fans to discuss, potential theories of how everything came to a close, but Tyler is saying that this will be a very lore-centric album. And the third quote is that this album in the Dima storyline is going to be the final chapter, the final battle between the Banditos and the Bishops. Once again, this quote comes from that same Zane Lowe interview through Apple Music, and here's the clip.
So I guess once the story is told...
One more record.
One more?
Mm-hmm.
In what?
There'll be an explanation in a bookend. And
Well, I was going to say one more record in the current volume of books, or one more
Yes.
record.
no, I don't think one more record. Nothing. I think one more record when it comes to the story that I've been telling for all these records, and then after that, I think then truly maybe moving on to another story. No one wants to listen to or watch or read a story that doesn't end.
So Tyler Joseph is saying that this is the final album in the Dima storyline, and by no means is this the end of 21 Pilots. Don't get this misconstrued. Now, Tyler has said that he is a very adamant storyteller. He loves telling stories, and I'm sure Josh is right there with him. I'm sure that later down the road, they will start a new storyline from ground zero. So anyway, those are the 3 quotes and facts that I have been putting in my videos since making theories of this next era. And I can't wait to see each of these facts come to fruition. Let me know you got to the end of the video by commenting your own theory about this final album in the Dima storyline. I'll be reading over as many comments as possible. As always, call somebody today, whether that's a friend or a family member. You may be saving their life. This has been Jake with Stolen Potential, and I will see you when I see you.